You are welcome to the third day of this series of training for data management for research and institutional decision making. So in this series, as we said on Monday when we started, we are going to learn a couple of things that help us to manage data, explore our data, and also be able to do some visualization on the various types of data that we have. So just a small recap, we have been looking at the tools that we need. So we looked at R Studio, and so we are going to start off our session today with looking at the results for the pre-survey that we did. We collected some information from you using a link for a pre-survey for this course on this training. So I will share these results. I'll start with sharing them so we can have a snapshot of what kind of information we collected from you. And just so you see how and why we are moving in the direction that we are moving. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, so now I'm sharing my screen for the pre-webinar survey results. So in that questionnaire for the survey, we wanted to have an understanding of the people that are attending the training, the gaps, the baseline of the skills that we have so that we can work towards bridging these gaps as we equip ourselves with the best skills to manage our data, but also to be able to make the best decisions in our different institutions. So we looked at the first question, which is, what is your current role? And we had quite a number of common roles, including students, academic researchers, we have data managers, M&E professionals, ICT staff, we have librarians, we have ethics and governance officers. We also have those that are running multiple combinations of roles in their current institutions. So it is good to know that we have quite a variety of people. So this simple graph here simply shows the percentage of the respondents and their different roles. So we can see that we have the largest number, percentage, students, then academic researchers, then data managers, M&E professionals, etc. And then we also have up to librarians. So this is important for us to note. And then further still, we also looked at the second question that we use to understand the kind of work that we do, but also the tools that we use. So when we asked which tools are you currently using in your data-related work, we had quite a variety of tools that many of us are using, and that includes Excel. It includes R and R Studio. Some people are using SPSS, Kobo Toolbox. Some people are using Stata, QGIS, Google Sheets, Python, etc. So, but when you look at this graph here, this bar graph, you can quickly see that majority are using Excel. That's quite a big percentage of them. Then we have those using RStudio, SPSS, ODK, Google Sheets, QGIS, Stata, down to others that we were not able to specify in this particular diagram. So it's important to note that we are using various tools for our analysis. And so we pay attention to understand what we do and what we might need in order to do what we do in the best way possible. Another important thing in this training is that we deal a lot with spatial data, geospatial data, and it's important for us to understand if we can actually manage and visualize geospatial data in the simplest but also the most efficient way possible. And so that is why we asked this question, have you previously worked with spatial or map-based data before? Okay, so we can see clearly that we have quite a number, in fact, majority, as we shall see down in the graph, are first-time users of geospatial data. Okay, there are those that have come across geospatial data, they see it, but again, they haven't had experience in managing, analyzing, and visualizing this kind of data. We also have people who are occasional users, people who are regular users, the smallest number of us as regular users. So this is very important for us to note because geospatial data is a big focus for us, and we are going to see why in different fields that we are working in, especially in agriculture, we are going to be dealing a lot with geospatial data. So it's important that you can manage this data and quickly do a visualization when you have your own data set. All right, so in a snapshot, using a bar graph, we can see that majority or the biggest percentage do not have familiarity with spatial data. So this will be their first time handling spatial data. Those that have seen it but haven't worked with it themselves are also here. Those who occasionally work with it, and then those who regularly work with it. So since many of us haven't worked with spatial data, we shall then take that into consideration so we can see how to manage spatial data along with the other types of data that we are using, that we've used before. Then we also, now familiarity with the software itself. Of course, we see that very many people are familiar with Excel. Very few in this case are not familiar with Excel. So that's a good thing. We also have R and R Studio. So if you can see this, we had quite a number that were not familiar with R Studio. We have those that are familiar, and then we have those that are very familiar. So just for us to note as we join today that learning R and R Studio will take time, but we are going to learn most of the concepts. So we haven't stopped learning R and R Studio. We will proceed with R and R Studio in the coming days, but also in the coming modules. So it's important that you follow along as we build on the knowledge that we have. You certainly will not become an expert in R in 2 days, but we hope and aim to have you quite familiar with R by the time we end the series of the trainings, okay? Also, because of spatial data, we wanted to know familiarity with QGIS, and quite a number are not familiar with QGIS, and we shall explain why we are focusing on QGIS and probably not one of the online versions like ArcGIS as we move forward today. Also, what other aspects of data management are most relevant to your current work or interests? It's important that we know. And so we have quite a number of responses: data cleaning and tidying, data quality and consistency. We have managing large and multivariable data sets, creating metadata and documentation. We have creating maps or visualizing spatial patterns. Okay, so we also have those that deal with ethical data sharing and governance, and cloud storage. So people are dealing with all the aspects that encompass the full life cycle of data management. So it's important that we note this. And so in a snapshot, we can see that quite a percentage deals with cleaning and tidying, data quality, multivariable data sets, and we also have those that are dealing with none of the above. And we are happy to have them join us because by the end of this, they will have learned aspects of each of the above relevant aspects of data management. Then also, we wanted to know what skills you hope to gain from this webinar. So we have quite a number of responses: data management, we have data cleaning, the use of R and R Studio, using QGIS and spatial data analysis, visualizations and dashboards, integration across tools, interoperability, and workflow optimization. That is very important and very interesting. And then ethical data sharing and security. So people would like to have all these skills, and it's important for us to note. And we can see that majority are seeking data management skills, cleaning down to advanced topics like modeling and big data. So we are quickly going to see that advanced topics like modeling for big data have been reserved for the data science module. So in the data science module, we shall go deep into modeling using R, and we should be able to achieve some of these goals, including dashboards, etc. So if you're interested, please follow along with us. What is your confidence level in keeping your data secure, private, and ethically managed? We had quite a number of varied responses, those that are somewhat confident, those that are confident, those that are neutral, and we are able to get responses. And then we also asked, what challenges have you faced while managing data? And we see that frequently we are looking at data cleaning and quality issues, lack of skills, data security and privacy, but also dealing with large and complex data sets. We also have challenges with storage and backup, and the tools or software to access and install. Now we also have challenges of internet connectivity, which is actually a big challenge that sometimes affects the way we deal with data and manage our data. So if you look at this particular bar graph, you can easily see the challenges that various people are facing while managing their data. So with these, we aim at addressing these challenges so that we can have skills that can help us to manage our data effectively and also to build onto these skills to various levels, advanced. So the last question that we have here is, do you have all the necessary software installed on your computer? Especially Excel, R Studio, and QGIS. And we have those that had installed them, those that are planning to install them, those that needed support to install them. So we have the instructions in the Google Drive, so you can successfully install R Studio and QGIS. Now, it's important today especially that you install QGIS. So if you have not yet downloaded QGIS, please start downloading QGIS now so that as we go along today, you are able to follow with us because we are going to focus a lot on geospatial data management and visualization today. I repeat that it doesn't mean we have stopped learning R and R Studio. We shall continue with R and R Studio, including integration and analysis tomorrow as well. So these results are from the pre-survey, and this data was collected from us who are in this training today. So I would like to appreciate your participation in the survey. It helps us to address gaps that actually exist as we move together in the training. So I will now move to the PowerPoint for today. And we'll start. So today we are going to make a focus on QGIS as a tool that we are going to see the importance, the relevance, the application, and why you might need to understand QGIS or to use it. It is important that you know tools that are relevant to the kind of data that you are managing, because different tools have different capabilities. And so choices are made for different tools basing on sometimes these capabilities. So today we are going to introduce concepts in geospatial data and then understand what it is. And sometimes we don't even know that we have used or we come across that kind of information until you understand what it is, and then you can learn how to manage it. So the first concept that we need to understand today is geographic information systems. So what are geographic information systems? So these are computer-based systems that we use generally to capture, to store, to check, to integrate, analyze, and display geographically referenced information. Okay, so these systems help us to capture this kind of information in different sectors, in different spaces, and then it is this kind of information that helps us to visualize this kind of data. So GIS combines maps and data, and it helps us to understand relationships and patterns. Generally, we shall see where we apply them, and we'll see that we apply them in many different places. So, where do we apply geographic information systems? One, in agriculture and precision farming. So because we are dealing with agriculture and fields, we are going to deal a lot with geographic information systems. We are going to collect a lot of geospatial data. So it's important that you can visualize this kind of data, but also you can manage this kind of data. We also use GIS in land use planning. We use it in environmental monitoring. We use GIS in public health mapping, urban development, disaster risk management, and many other places. We use it in epidemiology. We use it to assess disease risks. There's so many places where we use GIS. We are going to focus on some today, and hopefully in the future we can focus on others as well. So it's important that you understand whether you are in a field that can possibly use GIS, whether you are in a field that can possibly use GIS, and we shall pause just to see if you are in any field that we have possibly not mentioned that uses GIS, and so we can share experiences. Another thing that you need to understand, which many of us are familiar with, are global positioning systems. So GPS is a satellite-based navigation system, and a GPS generally allows users to determine their exact location. So GPS determines your location using specific measures. And so most commonly, we use the latitude and the longitude to determine a location. We also have other coordinate referencing systems that we shall look at, but it's important that you understand that the GPS allows you to have an exact location. And today we shall use these locations to understand what geospatial data looks like and how we can visualize but also manage it using the tool. So this GPS, I mean, you can read more about it, but it involves satellites, and there are many that are operational. And so reliably, we can always determine your location using GPS if you have the right tool to capture the location. Remember, it's important in many fields to know and to be able to locate your data point, because it helps you to understand your geospatial analysis results and visualization to determine the patterns that you might want to actually see. So again, GPS also has uses in agriculture, which we are going to dwell on a lot today. It has uses for navigation, which we use on a daily basis. Phones, cars, aeroplanes, there are many. We use it for mapping, which is a core for example, for analyzing this kind of data. It is used in the military. It is used for surveying. Generally, we have quite a number of uses for GPS. So the real question is, what is the link between GIS and GPS? Okay? If somebody talks about GIS, somebody talks about GPS, what is the link? So GIS and GPS work together. They work together to collect, analyze, and use geographical data. So the positioning system is used by the information system to analyze and visualize the data. So the positioning system will provide you with the real-time location data. That is the coordinates, just ensuring that they are collected correctly. And then the GIS, which is the system, helps to store this kind of data. It helps to analyze this kind of data. It helps us to visualize it in meaningful ways on maps. And that is usually the aim of what we do. So, for example, you can use a GPS device to collect location of deep tanks. For those in veterinary field, the deep tanks for the animals. And then you can use the maps to sort of visualize the location of these deep tanks, but also to understand the risk of disease outbreaks, just to see if they are occurring in areas that contain deep tanks, areas that don't contain deep tanks, and if you need to intervene and address this. So it is important that you understand the link between the two, because we are going to see how to use both of them to achieve the goal of managing and visualizing geospatial data. So what are the tools for GIS? So we have tools that we use just like we've seen before, tools that are specific for GIS, but also tools that can be used for all other types of data, including GIS. We have tools that are free. We have tools that are not free. We have those that specialize in mapping. And so we need to know the tools, but also to understand which ones you can use. and what you need to take into consideration when you want to make a choice of which tool you should use. For example, we have the software itself. We have QGIS. QGIS is a free and open source software. We have the commercial version, which is ArcGIS. If you have these resources, you can use ArcGIS. We have GrassGIS. We have MapInfo as well. So these are commercial. This is open source. So in this training, we have chosen to use QGIS, largely because it is free and open source. Now, we also have the tools for collecting this kind of data. The software helps us to manage the data, but we have tools that specifically collect geospatial data, and that includes data about the location of the occurrence of the outcome of interest, either in a research or for whatever decision you want to make. Now, that means we have certain choices to make, especially, can you access the tools? Do you know how to use them? So the first tool are GPS devices, which we might actually be very familiar with. We have remote sensing, satellites, we have drones, we have mobile apps, we have survey equipments. So these help us a lot to collect geospatial data. Then we have also tools for mapping and visualization. And once again, QGIS, ArcGIS. We can also use R. We can integrate these and we see how you can also use R to map, to visualize, to analyze location data. We can use Python. We can use map viewers. There are quite a number of tools that can be used. And we shall focus on two for our case, and it is QGIS, and we continue to use R that we have already introduced. So that means it's important for you today to successfully download and install QGIS for us to use together. We are going to have a very slow learning curve for today so that we are able to achieve the goal of visualizing and managing our data using QGIS. Okay, so before we think of the tool, which is QGIS, it is important that we understand the type of data and how it looks like. The information that we are going to use, what do we understand by geospatial data? So GIS and geospatial data, we do this kind of analysis using various types of files. The data can be captured in CSV files. The data can be captured in shape files, if available, raster files. We can have images. So shape files, for example, contain location mapping for different areas. So if we have a shape file, we can use it to visualize data in a particular area. If we don't have a shapefile, we can use open map services like Google Maps, and we are going to see how we can use these maps to sort of view and draw maps while we understand and see where the information is being collected from. So we are going to do that. Now, today, we are going to describe our data. We're going to see what data do we have for use, and we are going to pause to make sure that we all have that data. So we are going to focus on two data sets today. One is a fertilizer data set. This one, it is a CSV file. Another one is country yield data. It is also a CSV file. These files are located in the Google Drive. So please go to the Google Drive, download the files. You can put them in your project, your data management project folder. It's important that you have both files. Then we can open them together and try to describe the data so we understand what kind of data we have and which variables locate the information. So we need to know which ones are the location data sets, rather the location data variables, and make sure that you can see them on your side. So I am pausing so that you access these on the Google Drive. The Google Drive has not changed from Monday. We are using one Google Drive. We just added these two data sets in the Google Drive. So the link to the Google Drive is being shared in the chat in case you missed it. In case you missed it, the link to the Google Drive is being shared on the chat. Please access the Google Drive, and I will pause so that you pick that data. And so if you have any challenge with accessing the data, you can write that on the chat. It's important that you access the data. Okay, so as we wait, please confirm. Please confirm. Somebody's saying, can you share presentations? The presentations are in the Google Drive. The presentation, the PowerPoint is in a PDF format, but it is on the Google Drive. Once you're in the Google Drive, you will see information materials that were used on day 1 and day 2. They're all in the Google Drive. Today, I would like you to access these particular files. We are working with somebody saying the documents are so many. Which one should be downloaded? We are using 2 documents today. Please, you can look at my screen. We are looking at the fertilizer CSV file, and we are looking at the country yield data. Somebody says they're not able to see them. They should be there. They should be there. Download, put it in your working directory. You can put it on your desktop, especially. Okay. If you see them, download them. If you see them, download them. Okay, we're giving ourselves 1 more minute. Please download them. Somebody's saying, have we gone through installing QGIS? Instructions to download QGIS are also in the folder. Just go there and click on the link and download QGIS. Are we supposed to download the QGIS file? Yes. Go to the folder, download the 2 data sets, the fertilizer data set and the country yield data. And then the one that has install QGIS, go in there and click on the link, start downloading QGIS so that it can install. Install QGIS. Follow the instructions. So the reason why I'm pausing is so that we can have the data sets downloaded. Now, the next question I have for all of us who are here, have you installed QGIS? If you have installed QGIS, type yes. If it is downloading, just say it's still downloading. If it is installing, then you're still installing. We just want to know so we can see how much time we can give for us to continue downloading, continue installing. Okay, so we have downloading, installing, continue giving that feedback. Okay, so we are giving 1 or 2 minutes for people to continue installing. Yours has a virus. Continue installing. So 3.4.1 version should be okay. Somebody's QGIS is not working. Somebody cannot find theirs after downloading. Go to your downloads. Go to your downloads. Click on that icon that you have downloaded. I'm not sure where your downloads are. I don't know if your downloaded items are going in your downloads or in your desktop. Wherever it has gone, just go there, double click on it so you can install it. Sam is asking for the link. Are you asking for the link to the Google Drive? The link to the Google Drive is being shared on the chat there. Please click there and you will find the installation as well. All right, so after installing, which file to open? The QGIS itself. Type in your search bar QGIS. It is one file. Open it. And we're going to see how it looks like, what you expect, and we'll pause at that point to make sure that you are actually seeing the QGIS interface. So now our interest is that you download and install. Download and install. It is asking for money to download. No. QGIS is free. QGIS should be free. QGIS is free. Click on skip. If they're asking you to donate some money, skip and continue. QGIS will take time, yes, because it is large. So please continue to download it. Leave it to run. Leave it to download. Leave it to run and download. Somebody says R and QGIS is not working on Windows 8. Steven, do you have a solution for that?
Well, Windows 8 is too old for QGIS, at least from Windows 10. So unfortunately, you will not be able to download.
Okay. So you will need at least Windows 10. Somebody's asking how many sub-windows should they show on the screen? No, we shall go there. We shall open. We shall move together when we are now opening QGIS. So right now, I want you to download and install QGIS. Yeah, yes, that version is okay. So we are going to take a bit of time. So if it is still downloading, allow it to download. Allow it to download. The one, Arthur, if it is requesting for fees, skip. There's a skip button there, skip. It's probably a donation that comes along as you install. Skip and download. Skip and download. Somebody says it's asking for payment. Skip, it is probably asking you to donate. You can skip that and continue downloading. It is taking time. Yes, it is going to take time. And since you have started the downloads, we will be talking about the data as you continue downloading. Okay. Now, I am going to go to the data set. So the data set, the first one, which is the fertilizer data set. It has information about fertilizers in different towns, the prices, the different types, the crop, the hectares, etc. But it also has the location data. It has the longitude and the latitude. And this makes this a geospatial data set. We have information that can locate where the case or the row is coming from. So I'm going to actually go and open that file itself. Okay, so this is the file. It is a file that contains location data for different towns that we have in different countries. So we have in Tanzania, if we scroll through, it's important that you understand the kind of data that we have. I think we have Burundi. So we have many countries. We have different cities, different countries. Okay. And we have the location data. So the location data here is for the different cities in the different countries. And we're going to see how can we visualize this kind of data, but also how can we see the distribution, for example, of the outcome variable in this, which might be the yield, for example, per hectare for the different years. Okay? So this is what we refer to as geospatial data. And this is the kind of data we are interested in today. So this is the fertilizer data set. This fertilizer data set has, in case you want to read more about it, it has its metadata, which I think I also uploaded. So the metadata has, for example, this time the metadata is in a text file and in a Word file. Yesterday and the other day, we looked at metadata that was captured in data dictionaries, in code books, and these code books were in Excel. So today we have metadata in Notepad, text file, and also in Word. So remember again that metadata is something that describes the data that we have. So we have a description of the different columns, the ones that you might need to read about. So it's important that you get time, you have this information, check out what ACC 50 means because they are in the data set. We also have information about where the data was collected from, when it was collected, which is in a text file, okay? When it was released, when it was published, different version numbers, okay? How you can cite this data. Now, this is publicly available data, so you can always go to the internet and maybe we can give you a link and you find the data in the repository where it is located on the servers. So that is where the data was stored and there is access for those who would like to use it. So, but it has all this metadata for you to understand. Remember, we said metadata helps us to understand data that was collected while we were not there. While we were not there. We need to use it, and we need to use it with understanding. Give an example of yourself. If you do not, for example, work in the agricultural sector, you may fail to understand what the data means. So you will need a metadata file that helps you to describe this kind of information. So this is the first data that we will see. And then we are also going to look at the country yield data. This one also is data from the agriculture field. Today we are going to deal with data from agriculture. But whatever we are going to do, the skills that you're trying to generate here are the same skills that we will use even when you're in the education sector and you are dealing with, for example, data about schools, their location by GPS, and you want to visualize distribution of services, okay? So it's the same kind of skill that you need if you have the location data collected and captured correctly. So we have in this data set, we have the crop yield, we have the pesticide tones, we have the average temperature, we have, yes, the yield, the average rainfall. The crop, we also have the country. Okay, now, in this case, the location data that we have is for the country because that is the only information we have about the region or the location of each row. Okay, we are looking at crops, the yield, the conditions in particular countries. So that means you also need to understand which type of location data is it representing. So in this case, this one is representing information from different countries. We have many. If you've used Excel, you can filter to check which countries are there. We can do those tables, but we're not going to do them now because we want to focus on QGIS. So we do have this. This is also geospatial data. So once you see geospatial data, it means there is an importance of being able to map it out, visualize the patterns, and so you can be able to understand differences in a snapshot. So this is the country yield data. Please make sure that you are able to access this data here. Make sure that you're able to access this data here. And so, once again, we want to see if installation is going on well. Want to see if installation is going on well. Okay, so we see people have downloaded, preparing to install, installation going on. Deborah, you can proceed. Okay. Mine is still downloading, mine is processing, others are slow. We are downloading, installing. Let us proceed with downloading and installing. Okay, so continue downloading. Do not stop the downloads because it is important that you have this software. Now, I am going to go back to my PowerPoint. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Somebody says the presentation file is not uploaded in there. No, it is not. And the presentation files are put after the presentation because we may need to make some adjustments. Okay, so we proceed. Now, we have described the data. So this is just a description of the country yield data that we have looked at. Paying special attention to the location variables. In our case, it is the latitude and the longitude, okay? If your data has different coordinate reference systems, we shall see that you can convert them, okay? And we shall possibly look at that in the future as well. Again, we're looking at the metadata for the SEM, which we have. So now the real question is, what is QGIS? So we are going to explain what QGIS is, and we are going to use QGIS. By the time we are done today, we should be able to navigate this software with ease. So QGIS in full is Quantum Geographical Information System. It is free. It is open source. You can use it on your desktop, and it is used to view, edit, analyze, visualize geospatial data. Remember, when we're talking about geospatial data, we are emphasizing location data. So pay attention to make sure that the data set actually contains the information that locate places where the data was captured from. So it supports different formats, shapefiles, PostGIS, GeoTIFF. And if you have shapefiles, we can use them. If we get them, we can actually demonstrate that. But we can also use CSV files that contain the information that we need to do the visualization. Now, it also offers spatial analysis, geoprocessing tools, map creation. These features all exist in QGIS. So QGIS is a good tool, just like R. R is also a good tool. They may have different capabilities, but they help us to achieve the same goal. So it integrates plugins for advanced workflows. What does this mean? It means that because it's open source, if there are plugins that have been developed for specific purposes, just like you would be in R and you'd have a package that does something very specific, then you can use that plugin to perform some very advanced workflows, okay? So it is possible. You can use it for advanced workflows, and be able to achieve whichever goal you plan to achieve. Of course, if it is achievable using QGIS. So remember again that GIS uses GPS to locate information. So we are now here. The GPS platform, which is also the GIS platform. This is supposed to be actually the GIS platform. So when you open QGIS, if you have installed it, this is what you need to see. There are many windows. You might not see all of them. We shall see how to bring these windows together. We have plugins here where we are going to add our plugins when we need them. We have a whole menu that helps us to do different things. Some of these menus help us to load data. Others help us to view the data. Others help us to map the data. And others help us to export it. Down here, because this is location data, you will see the coordinate referencing systems down. If you can see my cursor, you will see the coordinate referencing systems down here. You will see which one is being used. In most cases, we use the EPSG 4326, which is the longitude and latitude system. So generally, your QGIS should look like this. Now, I am going to get out of PowerPoint and go to QGIS itself. So we see if you open yours, does it look like that? This is mine. Okay. Now, when you open your QGIS for the first time, you're going to see an untitled project because definitely you haven't saved anything. It is important that you can see the menu here. Make sure you can see this menu here. Project templates will be there. Importantly, make sure we are seeing the coordinate referencing systems down here. Okay, let me look at the chart. If my QGIS looks like yours, just type yes. Still downloading. Yes, no. Somebody says no. Okay, so we're going to see. Maybe you don't have certain windows that are open, certain panels. We shall put them there. Okay. Okay. Somebody's is in French. That is okay. Yours says Qt Designer. Okay. Mine is downloading multiple installations. Why are you downloading multiple installations? Okay. So it looks alike. Okay. And Annie said, can you open it up and we see if your QGIS looks like this? Let us know. Somebody has a challenge with the network today. Hopefully you can be able to download. Hopefully you can be able to download. Hopefully you can be able to download. Somebody is not seeing my screen. Somebody has browser on their screen. Yes, we are going to add them. For those who have many, we are going to add them. We're going to add one by one. Okay. It's important that we see screens that we are using. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to move slowly so we can keep waiting for people to continue downloading. Somebody's is empty. If you have a prompt that it will be completed in 2 hours, it means your internet is a bit slow. That is what it means. Okay, so now, as we continue to waiting, security issues. You somehow have to access it because we need it. 3.38. If you're seeing the same windows, it should be okay. If yours has 2 hours to go, it simply means the internet will is slow. 1 day to complete. Okay. Is it possible to use this same data set in RStudio? Yes, there is no problem. And tomorrow we are going to take this data set into RStudio. So these are just CSV files. You can upload them in RStudio. You can upload them in GIS, any. So let's proceed now a bit. And because we have different windows here, we have different windows. People have the browser option approach. So we are going to look at that. We are going to add some of these layers and these panels here. So these are panels, different panels that we can play around with and add there. Somebody's landscape is black, probably because that is a setting that we have. Okay, so let me go back to my PowerPoint and we proceed. And from the current slide. So, QGIS project, what is it? We've seen that we have an untitled project because we've just opened QGIS. So when you save your work, it organizes it and stores it in one place, and that is what is called a QGIS project. Okay? So that project space, the one that we've seen, it is what will have the coordinate reference systems, the configurations, the map layout, the attribute data. We are going to look at the attribute data. So the data set that you upload into QGIS is what we call the attribute data or table. We want to see how can you access that attribute data. We have the plugins that help us to use specialized things that we need to customize our maps and our spatial analysis. So we shall look at projects. We shall create our project as we move along. We shall be able to export information or our maps out of QGIS. But how do we do that? Is exactly what we are going to take ourselves through slowly. Okay. Again, we have said plugins help us to add extra tools and features. So it's important that you know, for example, how to install a plugin into QGIS. Plugins help us a lot. So our first demonstration, somebody needs computer rights. Somebody is talking about ArcGIS and QGIS. So we're using QGIS because it is free. Okay, so we are going to see these plugins. Now we're going to install one plugin. It's the first thing we are going to do. We're going to install one plugin so that we can see and try to understand if we can install plugins. The plugin that we are going to install is called, if you can see my screen, is called the Quick Map Services. This plugin helps us to access OpenStreetMaps, which today we shall use for our visualization. So how do you install the plugin? That's the first thing we are going to do together. And then after we shall add different panels onto our screen. Okay, so how you install the plugin? We are going to open QGIS, go to the plugins menu, search for it and install it. That's something that I will prefer to do practically so you can see while you are in QGIS. So I will demonstrate on the PowerPoint, then we go to QGIS so that you quickly understand what you're doing as you see it here. So in the plugin, we shall go to manage and install plugins. And then after that, we search for it. After searching for it, we are searching for Quick Map Services. After searching for it, you will click on Install Plugin. You will click on Install Plugin. And after installing it, we are going to see where we can find it and how we can use it. So, in your QGIS here, if you can see my screen, go to plugins here. Manage and install plugins. And then after that, you search for Quick Map Services. You should be able to see it when you type the name there. And then when you click on it, down here, install the plugin. So I haven't installed it, so I'm also going to install the plugin now by clicking on Install Plugin. And it's done. And because it's done, you will now see this tick that shows that it is done. This tick that shows that it is done. Now, I would like to know, please install your plugin. Go to plugins, look for Quick Map Services, find it and install it. And we pause right here so that we see if we are succeeding in installing. I can't see Quick Map Services. Okay, we have those who are done. Yes. Okay. Still installing. Done. All right, so we are giving ourselves time so you can install your Quick Map service. Somebody says type the name without spaces. Okay. It's one word. If you can see my screen, Quick Map Services is one word. Quick Map Services is one word. So I'm going to, I did installations, but there is no Quick Map service. Which installations did you do? We want only one installation if you have already opened. We are installing only one plugin. We are installing one plugin. Somebody says we repeat the plugin. Okay, so if you're looking at my screen, I do not see the plugins. Okay, so here we go. I am repeating the plugin installation process. We need that plugin so that we can be able to visualize. Go to plugins here on the menu. In that menu, click on plugins, then manage and install plugins. Then search for Quick Map Services because that's the plugin we really want to install now. Quick Map. You should be able to see it. And when you click on it and it's highlighted in blue, now mine has a tick because I've installed. You come down here. If you've already installed, it will prompt you to either uninstall or reinstall. But if you haven't yet installed it, it will ask you to install. Click on it and install it. Click on it and install it. So we have one. Okay, somebody has installed it now. Okay, we have 1 more minute to try and install this. 1 more minute. Try and install this. Okay. So when I pause, it's because I'm reading through. Mary says they cannot see the install option. Okay. Those who are successfully installed, please continue confirming. Continue confirming. Continue confirming. Okay. We are going to do this. We will take a short break as we give time for people to continue downloading and installing. Okay. Now, we are not going to import data now until we see that people are able to install QGIS. The plugin is installed, etc. So how do you confirm that that plugin has been installed? That plugin helps us to get somewhere, and it is accessible under the web. So if you go under the web, if you have installed the Quick Map service and you go under the web, you should see Quick Map services there, and you'll see quite a number of them. Okay, and we shall see which one we are going to use, which one we are going to select. The real question is, if you fail to install, then you will not be able to access these Quick Map services. Okay, that plugin will not be there. And yet we need that plugin. So confirm on your side, on your QGIS screen, if you can access the Quick Map services. Confirm. Okay. Let me check the chat. Where should I install? Confirm, meanwhile, if you can see. Okay, I repeat the procedure. Okay, I'm repeating the procedure. I am going to repeat the procedure for installation and how you can confirm. So, procedure for installation. Go to plugins here. Manage and install plugins. Okay, and look for Quick Map services. Before you type anything there, there are quite a number. So scrolling will take you a lot of time. There are so many plugins. So just search for it by name, Quick Map services. When you see it, click on it so that it's activated to blue. Come here. You will see install. Me, I have uninstalled because I already installed it. Click on install. Click on install. And then it should come. It should take less than a minute. And after that, under the web, you can now access the quick map services. We need the quick map services before we proceed because we are going to use it. Now, also, before we take a break as we wait for people, somebody said their screen doesn't look like mine. Theirs has more panels or the browser etc. So it means somebody wants to install all the plugins at once. We will look at that when we are now familiar with how to use the software. We will install. There are so many. You see that list? There's some, you don't need all of them. And also, QGIS is a software that takes some good amount of space. So you don't want to overload it with plugins which you're not going to use now. Okay? Plugins which you're not going to use now. Okay. So I am going to show you something different. Somebody says what they have is different. It's okay. If you have opened QGIS, there is no problem. We are just going to see why you have more panels probably than I do. Or let's add and see that we all now have the same. Okay, so in my screen, you can look here. We are going to activate the views of the panels. So let's go to view and you go to panels. Okay, so we have panels. I think some people have the browser. You can activate the browser one. You should be able to see it up here. This is the browser panel. So there are those who have the browser. There are those who didn't have it. It's just because you are not viewing it. You can have the layers down. You can have the browser up just so you see. Okay, so let's all add that so that we are seeing the same things. Then again, under views, where there are panels, okay, there is a processing toolbox. You can also add it there. You will have it on this side. At some point, we are going to look at the processing toolbox. But since we are just going to draw maps today, I didn't want to crowd your screen, okay? But just so you know that you can keep adding and removing the panels from your workspace. So add the processing toolbox, but we are going to remove it just so we can be able to focus on the maps themselves, okay? So all that is done under the view, the panels here, okay? You can play around, you can add a statistics panel that computes them. They all appear here. So the problem is they are going to all come under this. So you will start looking for where to put them because it's a very big software. So for now, I'm going to close my statistics panel, but we will be getting them from there. Under the view, we shall be getting the different panels. So I want you to activate the browser view though, so that we're going to use it to browse. Check out the processing toolbox as well. We can always remove them as we head towards the importation of data and the visualization of data, which we are going to do in a short while from now. Every one of us needs the quick map service plugin before we start importing data. So in QGIS, we are not going to do pretty much coding. We are just you just need to understand where to click in order to have these visualizations come up. So because we are starting out, I will still look at the chart to see if and what people are commenting. Somebody's asking about yesterday's assignment. Yesterday's assignment is in R, and we shall look at it tomorrow when we are proceeding. So mine doesn't have the install option. We are going to take a break. Right now, we are not going to start importation. Okay. So you're going to bear with us if you have already installed this for the rest of us to do the same. Recordings are there. They are available. You already have the recordings from yesterday and the other day. Okay. So now we are in a break, and in this break, I am going to repeat what we have been doing so that we can bring everybody on board as I try to read through the comments. Okay, somebody says they don't have the install option. So for starters, if you don't have the install option, maybe you mean that it looks like it is not active the way my screen is looking now. Okay. If that's the case, then click anywhere in here. Click anywhere in here and go to plugins. Okay. Now manage and install plugins, and then you come. So when you say the install option is not there, I'm going to uninstall mine. Just I show you why you're probably not seeing it. I have uninstalled mine. Now I'm going to install it again. If you do not see this install plugin, it's probably down. You need to kind of minimize. If it's down like this, means you're not seeing it. So you need to minimize this screen here and drag it up. Your screen size is probably what is not allowing you to see this thing. Okay, so if you can minimize it, drag it up until you see your install plugin. Let me know if that works. Then you can find that button. Because if you don't find that button, you are not going to be able to do this installation. So I'm going to install it again, just for those who missed. Try to minimize the window, drag it up until you can see install. Until you can see install, then come back. After installing, I see another question that where do you check under the web to check that Quick Map services have been installed successfully? Go to the web here. Go to the web here and access Quick Map services. After that, we will have no challenges. So in this break, I am still pausing. Somebody says they got it now. Okay, I am now looking for what other challenges we have. The link to WhatsApp. Okay. Minimize and drag has helped. Okay. Somebody is still not seeing. Person who is not seeing the install, did you manage to minimize and drag? They have put a link to the WhatsApp also. Sam is saying how is one minimizing? Minimize the screen itself. How do you do the plugin? Okay, so let's go back. If you are in the plugin here and you click on manage and to install, and you now have this. Okay. The issue is you cannot see the install, probably because it's hidden down. It exists, but it's hidden down somewhere like this. Okay. So now, because you cannot see it, you will not be able to. So minimize. If this was, so how do you minimize? You see this? You can minimize this like this. And then after minimizing it like that, drag it up so it can fit on the screen. Okay? So that is how So if it's very big, just put your cursor at the corners, continue minimizing until it can fit on the screen. You can make it as small as possible so it can fit, and then move it around. When you move it around, you should be able to really see your installation button. Okay. My computer is jamming. Are people able to see what I'm doing? Maybe let's see. Steven, can you see my screen moving? When I move this icon here, are people able to see? Maybe okay. So people are able to see.
Yes, I'm able to see it.
Okay. Great. So now, okay. Okay. Somebody's saying the plugins. All right. So now it has worked. So that's great. I need to address those issues because they are the issues that are will force you not to proceed or not to use. Meanwhile, when we are dealing with software and when we are dealing with this analysis of data, it is advisable that you use the latest software version as they come in. Okay? Because methods of analysis are updated regularly. So when you don't move to better versions, you run the risk of not being able to use all the features of the software. So you cannot take advantage of the software fully simply because you are not using the latest version. So my advice is that if you're using a latest version, let us all try to use it if you can be able to download it. That's the reason why we have chosen the free, the open source software, so that we are able to move with the versions as they move. So somebody asked about what did I do after installing that plugin. So after installing the plugin, you can view the plugin from here under the web. You can view that plugin here if you have it. Now, I have uninstalled mine, so I don't have it. So when you install it, you should have it. So I'll go back and install mine. Okay. Quick map services. First of all, uninstall it. Now I need to okay. Looks like it's there. Now it's there. So come to the web, and so initially I didn't see it because one, I didn't activate it, or two, I hadn't yet installed it. So when you come under web, you can't see it. But if you have it installed and activated, you should be able to see it here. Yeah, you can close after installing the plugin. That's perfect. So the other thing that I did that somebody was asking is that what was I trying to show with the panels here? So I said there are people that probably have more screens than I do or different panels. They can see more things. And it is because you can actually view them and you can actually also deactivate them. And where do you do that from? You go to the view and then go to the panels. So there are different panels. They will appear. You can show all of them. There will be many. It's important that we show them as we are using them. So I used an example of the browser panel. If you remove it, you will not see the browser panel behind here. So that one, I want all of us to have it. It will help us. So make sure you activate the browser panel, then you'll see it there, this one. And then the tool processing toolbox. I wanted you to see what is there. And but we shall remove it just so we can be able to see our maps very clearly. Okay, so we come back to view and let's deactivate the processing toolbox. Okay. Okay. That's okay. You can also, the QGIS is on your machine, right? So you can always look at statistics. Statistics will be important for us as we move. Yes, so that's how you keep adding and removing them. Now, the layers for this layers here, this layers panel is very important because that is where it will show the data that is being mapped. So if you don't have the layers panel, at least, okay, then go to view, just make sure you activate the layers, this particular one. The layers one is very, very, very important. That is exactly where we are going to have the information that we import here into QGIS. Okay, so after installing, I can only see 8 plugins. Lina, you need to type and search for it. It's not there. It's somewhere down. Search for it. Search for it. Let me know if you get it. Okay, somebody has installed the plugin. If you're asking to join the WhatsApp group, please don't send your number because you need to click on the link. We are not adding. You just have to have the link and you can be able to join. Okay, it looks like we are now succeeding. Looks like we are now succeeding. It's you don't have no option of processing toolbox under and layer under panel. Huh. If you can see, if you go to view, I hope you're not under layer. You go to view panels. So are you saying you do not see the layers and the processing toolbox? That's what I need to know. That is what I need to know. Did you success or which version are you using? We need to know the version that you are using. So meanwhile, for the rest of us, it's important that, okay. So Bran, please download and install the latest version of QGIS that we are using. If you can access so change, you need to change to that version. If you can access the installation guide that is on the Google Drive, it's important that you access it. So the older versions of QGIS, some of them, especially the 2.8, they don't have these features. These features were added in the later versions. That is why we are using the later version that we are using today. So it's important that you install the right version. So somebody says now they have got the quick map plugin. Okay. So now that you've got it, go to plugin. When you get it, this one here, click on it. After you click on it, install. You will see the install button down there. You will see the install button down there. Go ahead and install. click on it. Mine is already there, so that's why I'm not. It's requesting me to uninstall since I already installed. Install that, and then we should be good to go. We should be good to go. So I can now see that we have QGIS. It is working for most people. For those that are having challenges, it's mostly because you have a much lower version. We have been able to see the installation. We are now good to go. We have data, so we are okay. We are doing well. So what does that mean? It means that we are going to proceed and then start installing. So somebody is asking, what's the purpose of Quick Map plugin? The Quick Map plugin will help us to get the base maps that we are now going to use just now. Okay, so let us go back to PowerPoint and we pay attention. We move together. We are moving slowly for the simple fact that we are using the software for the first time according to the survey. So we have to kind of make sure we are familiar. Then after, can increase our speed more. Okay, so back to the PowerPoint presentation. Again, this shows us how we are installing the Quick Map services. Then we go down to install the plugin, which we have mostly done successfully. And we also go under the web to see that our Quick Map services have been installed very well. Okay, very well. Now we proceed. Okay, we shall see that, and everybody should be able to really see their Quick Map services under the web. That's perfect. Now, our next very, very important step is to load the data into QGIS. Okay, as we all know, in data management, it's important that you can get the software to import the data. It's important that you can get the data into the software, then you can perform the type of analysis that you want to perform. So we said we can deal with different files. Today we have a CSV file that has location. We are going to import the data into QGIS. And so how do we import data? We load data by adding layers, into QGIS. Under layer, we're going to add a layer. We're going to do this practically, but I need to show you the steps so you can have it as we go to practically do that. Note that QGIS does not necessarily use Excel files. Make sure your data is in a CSV file, usually referred to as delimited text files. That is what we are going to load by adding that kind of layer. And then we shall browse and try to find the data where it is. That's an important step. Then after finding your data, I don't know if it's on your desktop, you need to, because this is location data, make sure that your X field has the longitude and your Y field has the latitude. Okay? This will be very, very important. If you have the longitude and the latitude, then you click on add, and then we shall see the layers added inside our QGIS. So I am going to pause here and we go to QGIS itself. And we are going to import the data. We are using let me make sure I have closed mine. The crop yield data is the one we're going to start with, crop yield. Okay, so I'm closing these data sets so they don't, so that they're not open while I'm trying to import them. Okay, so in QGIS, go to layer, add layer. add a delimited text layer. Add a delimited text layer, and then browse the file name wherever it is. Mine is on the desktop, I think here. Crop yield data is the one we want to bring in. Open it. When you open it, ensure that the X field has the longitude and the Y field has the latitude. Ensure that it has the longitude and the latitude. And the file format will be recognized as CSV up here, okay? And also ensure that the coordinates, okay, we are dealing with point coordinates. The coordinate reference system by default should be WGS 84. This coordinate reference system that you see here uses the longitude and the latitude. There are many. You could have different coordinate reference systems and then would need to project them onto this one, transform them into this maybe. But for now, we are using the WGS 84 coordinate reference system, your longitude, your latitude, then you add the data into QGIS and close. Now it will locate them on the world map. Before we add maps here, it should locate the points that have been collected here so we can have them. And I am pausing to understand if you have successfully imported the data and the points into. Once you import, you will see the points. We are going to see where to see the data from, but the layer that we have imported, this one that has the country yield data, should plot these already for you to see here on the screen. Then we add the base maps, then we should be good to go. So I am pausing at this point. Okay, here we go. Repeat, done, repeat, repeat, repeat. Okay, we are going to, somebody cannot locate their data. Deborah, if you cannot, I'm going to repeat, of course, for sure. If you cannot locate your data, the dot pattern looks different. Yes, it might look different, but when we put the base map, it will look the same, unless you're using a different data set from me. Okay, where can I get the data? The data is on the data is on the Google Drive. Please, Gideon, if you have access to the data, the Google file folder rather, download today's data. This one is called what? The crop yield data, the country yield data. I'm going to repeat. Let me first address one or two things here. Yes, after importing, you just close. Okay. I will tell you why your option is not active. Yeah, uninstall the old QGIS and install the new one. Okay, I'm going to repeat. The drive to the link has been shared. The PowerPoint will be shared as well. So here I am. We are repeating. We are repeating this step here. If you want this to be active, click somewhere out. So I repeat, and I'll tell you now why your add button is not working before I actually run. So come to the layer, this one here. Add the layer there, and we are adding a delimited text layer because we are dealing with CSV files. Somebody commented that theirs is an Excel sheet. I did not send Excel sheets. If you downloaded yours directly from the Google Drive, then that one is not an Excel sheet. It should be a CSV. It might look like Excel, but the file extension is a CSV file. Okay, click on Add Delimited Text Layer, and then look for the browse. Find your data, country yield data, if you have downloaded it. If you put it in your folder that is on the desktop that says data management, that is where it will be. If you put it in the download, that is where it will be. If it is in your documents, that is exactly where you are going to find it. So open it up. And then now, this add button here, you see this one? It will not be active if you have not selected the X field that contains the longitude and the latitude. So what you do, come here where there is X field. If your X field is empty or your Y field is empty, these two at least should be filled with the right variable that contains the location information. So click here and choose from the list of variables, because now you've brought data in. Choose from the list of variables, choose the longitude. And from the list here in Y, choose the latitude. Even the coordinate reference system, please make sure that it is the first one here or the default. Actually, this coordinate referencing system is usually the default referencing system. Just make sure it is the one we have because we are dealing with longitude and latitude. Then the add button should now come. It will come when you specify the X field and the Y field, longitude and latitude. Then click on add. I want to add because when you keep adding, the layers keep coming here. Now I have brought it twice, okay? So I'm going to remove one of them just so I don't have to. So if you keep importing, you keep adding layers to your graph, but you can right click and remove it, okay? Remove. You might have different colors of dots as we are going to see. And I'm pausing again to find out if you have imported now. You added and then the dots disappeared. Click here. If you click, yes, CRS must be. If you click here, the dots will disappear because you've deactivated them in the layer. So go back and click on that checkbox, this one in the layer, so that you can see them. So you can actually get in and out of the dots, in, out of the dots. Yes. Okay, so confirm. Somebody cannot see X and Y. Eric, which version are you using? My add button is not active. Add is inactive. If yours are red, that's okay. The color, we shall see. If you don't like red color, we can change it. Okay. If you, because it is inactive, is what we have. Okay, I can't find the selection of CRS. First, continue putting comments so that I see the geographical system. Put there the default one if you're checking. Add button is still inactive. If your add button is still inactive, because now we can't proceed unless we all have data. Leave the Z and M fields alone. Okay, so inactive field, let's go back. If you are failing to import, let's do again. Please pause and look at what I'm doing. There are 3 reasons why you are failing to import. Once again, go to the layer, add the layer, add a delimited text layer. Okay? And when you see the buttons here, browse for the country yield data wherever you have put it. And we are done. Now, before you add, or before the add button will display, this is this field should be filled, okay, with longitude. So on the drop down, look for longitude. On the Y, look for latitude. That is one reason. If this is missing or this is missing, the add button will not be activated. That is one problem. The second problem is the coordinate referencing system should be this one here, the EPSG 4326 WGS 84. It's the one that we are using commonly that has the longitude and the latitude. And also make sure the file format that you have brought is actually CSV. Then we should see this add button appearing. Then you add. And if you keep adding and importing, you're going to have many layers here, okay? So I have decided that I want only one country yield data set. So that's why I'm going to remove this one by right-click and remove that layer. Now, importing data means adding different layers to your map. And I think that's what you're doing. Okay, so we are going to proceed. Successful. Okay, somebody finally downloaded QGIS. Okay. Can we import more than one file? Yes, we are going to import them. We are going to import them. But to avoid confusion, we are importing one for today. And then after, we will be doing great. So vector is too long. The person whose thing is saying vector is too long. You chose a vector instead of a delimited file. Geometry CRS, choose just choose the one that is written on default. It will work just fine. Okay, somebody got it. The first one is longitude X. The second one is latitude. Mine is not showing. Which version are you using? Mine is still inactive. Successful. Okay, so make sure we are using the same versions of, somebody says it's done now. Okay, so we are doing great. We have now brought in our data. Let's put the base map in. To put the base map, go to Quick Map Services. Go to Web here. Quick Map Services down here. Open Street Map. Open Street Map Standard. Allow it to load, and then you should be having your map when you have the base there. Then we can play around with this and export it. Let me know when you succeed. Make sure you can see your map. So you can see where these points are coming from for the different countries. Make sure you can see your map. Done? Somebody, where is the web? Longitude and latitude. Invalid projection. Okay. Repeat how we get the web. I'm going to repeat. Somebody has only one dot from Malawi, or somebody's complaining that there's only one dot from Malawi. The data is helping us to just see where these are coming. Invalid projection means you chose the wrong coordinate reference system. Somebody got it. Somebody doesn't have names, but do you have the best map? Okay. So we are doing well. Can you repeat? Okay, so I'm going to repeat, and this is what I'm going. Somebody's map is different. Please look at my screen. If you want to put the base map, you go to Web, Quick Map Services, OpenStreetMap, Standard. And if you did not install the plugin, you are certainly not going to find Quick Map Services under the web. So that's the reason why we installed it, because it then gives us the base It then gives us the base. Okay. Okay, so we are good to go. And I mean, I have brought it twice. You can remove this layer once again. Okay, so there's something I need to address. If they're saying the projection is invalid, somebody says they have a beautiful map. Yes, if you have data from only East Africa, the Open Quick Map will load East Africa. The reason why it's loading the whole world map is because we have points from across the world, different continents. So that's why. Sorry, on importing the data. The data is open but not displayed. What do you mean? The other thing is, by the way, if you look at the layer here, once you uncheck this, the points will disappear. If you uncheck the base map, it will also disappear. Then you can always check them back in the layers panel, bring them back. Somebody has been looking for OpenStreetMap, but it doesn't exist. Somebody's map that shows green dots. It's okay. You can change. We are going to see how to change the dots. If you're not seeing OpenStreetMap, we are here. Please, if you're not seeing OpenStreetMap, kindly pay attention here. It is because the plugin is not installed. So come here to plugins. We are now going to install the plugin. Go to plugin, manage and install the plugin. Okay, for those who are not seeing the OpenStreetMap, manage and install. And then after that, look for Quick Map service here. It will probably be like this. Then you type the Quick Map until you see it, highlight it in blue, then click on install. You will find the install button here. Mine is already installed. That is why it is asking me to uninstall. Once you install, then you will be able to you'll be able to see it under the web. Okay? You'll be able to see it under the web. Now, if you can see my screen, when we draw maps like this, okay, it's important that you can first of all export it out. Okay, so we are going to see how to export, then we are going to see how to export, and then after that, we see how to view the data, how to make some changes that are very important when we are visualizing. So to export your map, go to Project and Export here. You're going to export this map in two different formats. You can export it to image or PDF. Now, choose one of them or you can do both. So I'm going to start by exporting it to PDF. And give it a name. My first map or map 1. Because we're going to export quite a number of maps today out of QGIS. So the first one, mine is map 1. Map 1 is PDF. I'm going to export again, project, export to image. And maybe map 2 will be an image. And then I save. And wherever you have sent it, if it's on the desktop, you should find it. So I have map 1, I have map 2. When I click on map 1, if you have a PDF reader, you should be able to have it. You should be able to share it. So I'm going to pause. See if you have, oh, I'm supposed to be in QGIS. Okay, I want to see and know if you have exported. Somebody's lost. Somebody's asking why we don't have data for Ethiopia. We just didn't get data for Ethiopia. But when we have data for Ethiopia, we can add it onto this map here. Please continue exporting. Yours is waiting for a printer to connect. No, we are not going to, we are going to add, we are going to add all these things, the campus, many different things. Right now, we want to be sure that everybody and everyone can and will import and export. Where is the export button? Okay, so I am reading. Okay, so I'm going to repeat. Why are we exporting? We are exporting because you might want to share the map. You might want to share the map with other people. So I'm going to do two things. According to the comments, I'm going to do two things. One is to show you where I got the OpenStreetMap from under the web. And two is to export the data again. So the person that is not seeing the OpenStreetMap under the web, Quick Map Services, you need to install the plugin. Under plugins, you're not seeing it because you didn't install it. So in order to install it and see it, go to plugins here, manage and install, then type it there, Quick Map Service. When you see it, highlight it in blue, then install it down here. Click on an install button that appears. And when it appears, after installation, it will take a very short time. Then you will be able to see it under Quick Map Services, under OpenStreetMap standard. We are looking for we are going to add the standard street maps. So we are doing some basics here because we want ourselves to get familiar with QGIS. Then we shall move faster. Okay, and now I'm going to export, go to project, export the map to either an image or a PDF. You can choose any of them for now. And it will take you to the scale. Somebody said it goes to the scale. Yes, it will take you here to show you the scale, the resolution. You can adjust them. I didn't by default, but you can adjust them. You can increase the resolution. You can change the width. You can increase the height if you don't like the way it looks when it pops up in your PDF. You can make adjustments here. Okay, I just decided to take it by default, but you can do that. Then you save and give it a name. You can give it any name, map 3, and save. So that's how we are going to save this. It's important that you're able to get this map for now, and also that you can save it before I do any manipulations, because there's so many things we can do and will do. But if you're failing to get data in here and failing to see the map for starters, then you are having a big challenge. Yes, we will add legends. We will do that. It didn't show country names. It's because we didn't add them as yet. Okay. So I see, where can we revisit these teachings? We have a recording that is shared after. We can change the color of the coordinates. We are going to do that. Now, at this point, I feel like we have been successful. Okay. So let me go back to my PowerPoint and we proceed. Okay, so once again, when you receive this material, pay attention to the X field, the Y field, make sure it's longitude and latitude. And make sure you can see the add button, which we have now seen. Okay, we've also imported, and the dots represent countries. And we have added the street map. We have been able to see it. Okay, attribute table. So the attribute table contains information about the table itself. So you can view by right-clicking on the layer and then open the attribute table so that you can be able to see it. So I am already in QGIS. I want to show you how you can see the data. So when you have the layer here, for example, the country yield data, right-click on it and open the attribute table. Okay. Then you see the data that you imported is somewhere here. You can view it if you hadn't paid attention to that data while in rather in the CSV file. You can quickly see the country, the latitude, the longitude, the crop of the year. All right, so this is where you see your data from in case you want to see your data from QGIS. In the layer, you view that attribute table. It contains attributes, information that has been collected or describes this point location that we are seeing here. So that is also something important that you can see. So you can please confirm if you've seen it, if you've seen your data. If you've seen your data, confirm. Okay, yes, people are able to see their data. Okay, that is great. I can repeat it here. Just have a look. When you want to view, come to when you have the layer here and you're seeing it, okay, and you want to see the attribute, right-click on it. Right-click on it and open the attribute table. Where you see open attribute table is what we are clicking. Then you can see the data. The data is stored in what we call an attribute table. So make sure you can see it. Make sure you can see it. Okay. Make sure you can see it. Make sure you can see your map. We all want to be able to use this software seamlessly without coding. Okay, so somebody is failing to install the plug. If you're failing to install the plug, you need to type there, are you not seeing the install button, or are you not seeing the quick map services? So which one are you not seeing? Okay. You're not seeing the install button. So if you're not seeing the install button, I demonstrated that and I am going to repeat it so we can be on the same option, including the person that is not seeing the browser option. Okay, make sure you're using the same version of QGIS. Okay, now the person who is not seeing OpenStreetMap, I'm going to demonstrate. When you're in your plugins and you're managing this, the install button, the person who is not seeing it, the install button is not seen if your window is down here, okay? So what you do, make this window smaller by all means. Put the cursor here. I don't know, put it this side, make it smaller and drag this window up so you can see that install button. Somebody's map disappeared. So you see this button here, that's okay. Then you can be able to see the install button. And now, when you successfully install and you want to add the base map here, for those who are not seeing their base map, come to web here. Okay, get to the web and go to Quick Map Services, OpenStreetMap here, and then click on OpenStreetMap Standard. We do have a link to the recording. It will be sent out when we finally get done. We have the ones of the previous days, which have been shared. So they will be shared. Okay, then click on OpenStreetMap. Now somebody says their map disappeared. Your map will disappear if you deactivate it from the layer here. Mine can also disappear and I can put it back. The points can also disappear. You can put them back by checking them either in and out of the layers. So try to do that, okay? Okay, so this is great. Now that you've been able okay, so when you bring the layer, rather when you load the data and the map, you always see it in the layer. So you can always, after loading them, you can always deactivate them. Okay, now let's proceed. Let's proceed. We are going to do something slightly different, and then we shall come and check the challenges that we're having here. So please come here. We are going to try and manipulate this, change and see something different. Now, so we can change this by right-clicking. We go to Properties. Okay. Under Properties, the coordinates don't change, but it changes if you keep tapping on the screen. Then it will show you what that GPS is when your cursor is there. When it moves, it locates it on a different point on the Earth. So that's why you see the coordinate changing down according to how the cursor is moving on the screen. So what I've done now, by right-clicking on the country yield data, which you should also do, I want to be able to make some changes. Changes include things like changing the color of the dots that I am seeing on my screen. Right now, my color is, I don't know, this is orange. Yours is probably different. You can change them to green, to blue, red, whichever color you want. You can change to green and probably click OK and see. Okay, so I just changed mine. Try to change your colors. Right click. You can even change the size of the dot if you think they're too small. Well, mine, I can see them very well now. So right click and go to properties. When you're in properties, make sure you're in symbology here. This is in symbology, that is where you get how you can adjust. There are many things you can adjust, but we are starting with these obvious things. You can adjust the colors of the point like that and change. So maybe you adjust your color and let me know if you succeeded. Let me know, let me know. Yes, succeeded, done, successful. Okay, great. So if you're succeeding, we are good to go. Yeah, so if you have failed to reach here, let me do this one more time and then we move. Come to the country data itself in the layer and right click and go to properties. And when you're in properties under symbology, you can change this. Now, apart from that, which might, let me see, I'm trying to put this down. There is one thing I want us to do. We go to here. Under the symbols, let's go to graduated. We're going to do something. We go to graduated. So graduated will change the color according to different categories. And now we want to see, for example, the average temperature, okay? Average temperature. This average temperature variable, we can see the distribution using the histogram for starters. If we want to see how different it is in the different regions, we can first of all check the distribution because temperature is a numerical variable. Yesterday we said we can check the distribution of numerical variables using histogram. So you can check and load those values there. See that you can see your histogram, okay? Check that you can see your histogram. Now, I'm going to be pausing. Like now, can you see your histogram? I'm going to leave this on the screen and find out if you can see a histogram. Yes? Okay. Confirm? Yes. Make sure you can see your histogram. Penina cannot see her histogram. Okay. Okay, so let's repeat the histogram from the beginning. If you have yours, please don't close it. Come to the country data, right click. We are going to the properties. We want to change a few things. And come to symbology. And under symbology, we go to, we are going to do something graduated, but we are going to do it on the temperature, average temperature. And before we proceed, we wanted to see the distribution of temperature. You can even do the distribution of maybe kilogram per hectare per yield, average rainfall. You can get the histogram for all these things at this point. So you get the histogram and load the values of the histogram. Then you see the histogram. That is how we see the histogram. This one is clearly not normally distributed. It has a tail on the left. Okay, aside from that, what I want you to do is to classify the temperature. Classify the temperature so that you can have, well, these colors are not so nice. So let's look for a different color on the color ramp. Like this one here, Viridis. Okay, so let's click OK and see. Great. So this is what I wanted you to be able to see now. Now your dots are classified according to average temperature in the different regions. Okay. Those that are averagely higher, these are degrees Celsius, for example. Countries that have on average high temperature are dotted now in a different color. And the intensity increases as the temperatures, I think, decrease. And so these are probably colder countries. These are warmer countries. Let me know if you have been able to graduate the colors on the map, then we export them. Let me know if you have graduated these colors. Yes, 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 yes. If you have graduated the color, then come to project, export. I want you to export this one also. I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to repeat the process. But when you're done, export it out using the export button. Okay, so people are successful. Those who are not, somebody's things disappeared. If yours disappeared, look here. Somebody's saying I'm too fast. I am going to repeat the process. If yours are getting lost, it means these boxes are not checked, because if you click there, they'll disappear. Mine have also disappeared, but if you want them to come back, check on this box here on the country yield data and bring back those dots. Yours are still not there. Did you import the data? Okay. Now I'm going to repeat what we just did in case you failed to do, in case your dots still have similar colors and have not been classified, maybe according to this. Come to country data, right click and go to properties. And in the symbology here, I want you to come to, one is that we are going to create graduate. Now, graduated means we are going to give different colors to different scales of the same variable. That's what graduated means. Categorized has another meaning altogether. It simply means different categories will have the same color. Okay, so right now we are more interested in graduated because it helps us to understand the distribution. And so that's why we clicked on that one. You choose the color ramp. There are different colors. I chose this color because it's fairly used and usually it's common, but you can choose any color. The graduation will go from light to intense. You can choose this one that I chose. Now, in order to come up with these classes, you may not have them. You need to click on the classify button. If you want to remove the classes, you can delete them now at this point. If you don't have them, like I have deleted mine, then you come down and classify and put them back. Meanwhile, because this is a numerical variable, you can check out the histogram associated with this by loading the values. Okay. Now the values have colors because I already put colors there. So the colors are according to the bars of the histogram, actually. So depending on where your country lies, that is where you will fall. And that's the color that will be assigned to you when we look at the actual map. Now, it also means that you can graduate the colors with a different color ramp. Okay, you can graduate the colors with this one. You can continue trying out those colors. You can check out all the color ramps. There are many, they exist. You can just put them there and try to get which color suits you best. Then now, after that, you apply or you click OK, and it will come. Then you export. That's what I'm interested in, for you to be able to export images out. Okay, so let me pause in case we are having challenges. Okay. Okay, so my question is, did you manage to export this average temperature? No, yes. Please, so I can see. Did you manage export? Yes, no? No, yes. It's important that I know. I am certainly going to get to repeat. Okay, so okay, somebody says they got lost before the histogram. When you did the histogram, the dots disappeared. We are going to repeat that just to make sure you have. So it's important that you have, yes, we can reduce the size of the dots if you do not like the size that you have now. Okay, somebody managed to import. Somebody else should manage to export. Okay. Is it possible to filter? Yes, we are going to filter. We're going to be able to do this. We're going to be able to do all that. Right now, it's important that we are all able to change this. So I'm going to repeat. So if we are here, let's go together. Right click on the yield data and go to properties. Okay. While you are at properties, click on symbology, this one here. And while you're there, make sure that you are undergraduated, so we can have the colors graduating from light to intense, okay? Then under the value, we are choosing the variable that we want to use to adjust the colors. In our case, it was the temperature. That's why we chose the temperature. But you can also choose, for example, the yield, because the yield is the main outcome actually of this data set. So you are also going to do that as an exercise. You're going to do that as an exercise so that you can be able to do that. So choose the average temperature because that's the example. And after choosing, so we are going to graduate the maps and the points according to the average temperature. Somebody said they don't even, they want to change the size of the symbol. If you want to adjust that dot and you think it's big, click on it. When you click on it, then you can change the color of the dot. You can change the size. Mine is now 4. I can make it 3, 2, you know? I can make it smaller. I can change the opacity. I can make it, I can change the color. You can make it blue, anything. So then you click OK. So I don't want to change mine now. Then after this, for those who are failing to get the color palette or to classify, make sure that you have selected a value here as the temperature because it has to classify the temperature itself. Okay. Then click on classify, not classes. The classes will appear when you classify. So click on the classify button down here. Then you will see them. If you don't have them, your screen is probably like this. It is empty. If you've chosen a value here, which is the temperature, then come and classify the temperature from here. And you will see the classes here. But you can also see the histogram. Okay? Load the values of the histogram. When you load them. If you see your histogram looking cramped together the way it appeared, load the values so you can see them. If you have already chosen a color ramp, then the colors will appear in your histogram to show those on the higher side, what they'll have, what colors will be there. And then we click OK. Then we click OK. Okay, so now we're going to do something small. We're going to do an exercise to test our understanding. We're going to do an exercise for those to test our understanding. And in this exercise, I see that people are done. To everyone, the exercise is okay, I'm going to paste it here. It's actually what we've been doing. I want you to, instead of graduating it by temperature, you're going to do it by the yield. So if you can see the chart. Somebody's frustrated with importation of data. We are going to go back there. Please don't get frustrated. Okay. We are going to address these comments as much as they come in. So I have sent you a link. Okay, I've sent you a link. It has it has instructions on what you're going to do. We need that exercise from you because you're going to submit the map that you have created. Okay, and if I can explain that exercise, instead of graduating this by temperature, you are going to do it by the yield. Okay, and now I'm going to address comments as you do the exercise, please. The first comment I'm addressing is how do we export this map, please? So this is how we export. If you can see what I'm doing, to export, go to project here and go to export. Okay. You export either to one image or to a PDF. I will choose a PDF and it will take you to the scale, the resolution. Just save and give it a name. Okay. Map. I have so many maps. Map 4 and save it. So the map is on the desktop. If I go to my desktop, map 4 is here. I can open it up. It's a PDF document with a map. Okay. This is what we want you to be able to pull out of QGIS here. Okay, so it's important that you can pull this out. We can eventually, somebody's dots remained green. Did you click apply? Are we using kilogram per yield? Yes. Kilogram per yield data? Yes. That's what you're using. Okay, send, somebody's saying send the link to the class. Steven, please help me continue to paste the link. Somebody is saying, how do you submit the assignment? You upload the map, attach the map. how do we undo the temp during the assignment? Okay, so I'm going to be looking there and answering questions now as people try to do the exercise. It's important. Okay, when you are in the assignment and you want to undo temp under properties, this is what you do. The person that asked me, if you see my screen, delete all. There's a button down here that says delete all. This button will remove this, okay? It will remove it. Then you look for the variable that you're probably looking for up here. Okay, so the button delete all will delete it. And that should help. Another question. Now, we have also people making comments in the chat. When we see them, we'll address them. But now I am not able to look in the WhatsApp group. Somebody submitted. Oh, so we want you to be able to submit. Somebody's asking, how do you export the map with a legend? We're going to do that. Another one says he has not imported data. Sam, if you have the data, I will take you through how to import the data while the rest, please continue to post the assignment link so that they can have it. So Sam, you come here. If you have not yet imported data, come to layer, okay? Come to layer and come to add a layer. We add layers. When we are importing data, we actually add layers. And what the layer we are adding is a delimited text layer. A delimited text layer. This is the one that supports the CSV file that we are using today. And when you click there, you come to these dots so that you can browse and find it. You can browse and find it. And it is called the country yield data. I want to believe that you have already removed it from the Google class. You have it on your machine. Then you open it up. You open it up. Now, when you open, before you add, you may not see the add button. Make sure that there are two things you've done, that the X field represents the longitude. If there's nothing here, then search for longitude, and the Y field should be the latitude. If there's nothing here, search for latitude. And also, the geometry reference system here should be either a default CRS or the first one, the CRS here. Don't project it, because if you project it, it will not work according to the reference system that we have. Then you add, okay? Then you close this one here. Now, it's because I've added it twice. Now mine has the first one plus the second layer I have added, okay? But I can always uncheck it so that it's not active on the map. So this map, you can choose to visualize only, for example, the countries that are, you can uncheck this. You can remove these from the map. You can interactively remove them. Remove these. You can remain with the countries that are generally colder. You can choose the ones that are generally warmer. You can interactively choose those that are warmest and coldest. You can actually play around with this when you have it on the layer here. So you can try that out. If you have succeeded, you can try that out. Let me know. We can put them all back. Okay, so it's possible that you can remove what you don't want to see on the graph now at this point. Let me check in the chat just to understand what we are going through. Okay, now the add button is inactive. Okay. Sam, your button is inactive because when you go to layer, add this delimited, and when you bring this, you come to country data, right? Now, Sam, if you can see what I'm doing, make sure that you have the longitude value here as longitude, click on it. Make sure the latitude is also the latitude and that the coordinate reference system is this one, EPSG. Then the add button should come. Okay, I keep putting my add button, but so that if you're failing.
If somebody
Yes.
is in Q&A asking, how did you get graduated? Maybe you can demonstrate to them.
Oh, okay. We are going to go back there. Somebody's base map is now clear. Graduated. Okay, so for starters, let me first remove this because I added layers for somebody who was importing data. Okay, so now, okay, remove the layer. So once again, if we want to add the layers, you possibly don't have the graduated now. So you need to go to the country data itself, this one here, and right click on it. Right click on it and go to properties. Okay. It's under the properties that we are able to change what we are going to change. And under properties, you go to symbology because whatever we want is here. And from symbology, you can, the first drop down is where you choose graduated from. Okay. We're not going to do single symbols or categorize. Rather, we're going to do graduated. And then the next drop down chooses the value that you want to categorize. And we have chosen the temperature. Okay, it's the one that we want to graduate with the colors. Then we click on it. And then after choosing the temperature, we now choose the color that we want, the color ramp. There are many colors. You can choose any color that you wish. You can add more if you don't like the ones that are there. You can even choose a random color ramp, but anyway, I have chosen this one, Viridis. Okay. And then if you want to classify to get this, if they're not there, for example, if this is empty because you've not yet done the classification according to the color, the classify button is down here. So run the classification so you can see it here. And then click OK. If you don't click OK, you will not have them there. Click OK and close. I already have them, so that's why I'm not clicking OK, but click OK to apply these changes there. If you want to view a histogram, you can click on the histogram. You can load the values so you can see them. We can always adjust this, show the mean value, the standard deviation on the graph, etc. So that's how you do that. So you're more interested in the classes. So the classes are here. Classify them from here. Steven, you can continue checking the Q&A and address some of the questions that are there. Where do I get the temperature on the map? Okay, the person who is looking for the temperature on the map, it's here. Where the values are here, where you see values. This is where you find the temperature. There are different, so these are the values in the data set that you imported. So you can choose from here. In the assignment, I think we are choosing the kilogram per hectare for the yield. But now for demonstration, you can color ramp this one here, graduate the average temperature. Let me see. Can we create our own classes instead of the default? Yes. Where do I get the p-value? There is no p-value. So remember I told you there's a statistics panel. Yeah, so there's a statistics panel that we will go into. But not today, because I want us to be able to, first of all, be able to draw and take this map out. Where do we respond? Oh, I think we didn't put an answer for where to respond. So you are going to therefore upload the exported map only if you're doing the assignment, that is. So some we don't import the map. We load the base map. How do I submit my PDF file? Okay, how do I submit my file? You are going to attach it. It's the only thing that will be uploaded. So attach it. Cannot locate the OK button after classifying. We are going to look. The person that is saying they cannot export the map, this is how you export the map. So I'm going to, first of all, get out of here. When the map is done, come to project and export here, export map to image or PDF. Then you can upload. Stephen, can you continue to share the link? Somebody's map is not clear. It has a bright background. Oh yes, we can change the background colors once again. Okay. How do you get to the symbology again? Okay. You come to your layer here where there is country data. Right click on it and go to properties. Right click on it, go to properties, and in symbology, that is where you start doing the graduated. Just make sure the first is graduated. We can only upload one map. No, we can upload as many maps. You can now import even the other data set and just click them here, check them as many as you can. It's just that today we really don't want to bring very many maps here. But by tomorrow, you can bring many data sets here and then quickly deactivate the ones you don't want to see, activate the ones you want to see. It moves pretty fast once you master how to bring the data and add the layer. Bring the data, add the layer. That's what we are doing. Bring the data, add the layer. Okay, so now, all right, so is this different from ArcGIS? Steven, can you answer that?
Okay, that's a very good question. I mean, they do almost the same thing. But ArcGIS is proprietary and first of all, it's very expensive. It does more things than this. So the problem with ArcGIS is the licensing. For one single license is $700 per year. But this one does almost 90% of what ArcGIS does. So, but it has a steep learning curve. So we encourage people to learn this because it's free. But people who have resources, they can use ArcGIS. We use both. When I was teaching introduction to data management, data science, bioinformatics, all those dashboards that I showed you, we use ArcGIS. Thank you. Peace back to you.
All right, thank you. How do we know that the histogram is distributed? You can see. Okay. Somebody's saying, how can we change the color? Okay, how can we change the color? We will go here and right click and change in the properties. So I'm still trying to run through comments here. The value is not appearing. The person that is saying the value is not appearing. You are probably meaning when you right click, you go to properties, and symbology. You might be under the source or labels. Make sure you're under symbology. That is where the value will come from. That is where it will come from. Somebody says, after doing the classification, how do we get back to the map? Click OK and close this window here. I do not have country data, only county boundaries I can see. Does that mean, did you import the data successfully? Did you import the data successfully? You did not import the data successfully. Yes, so if you didn't import the data, then you cannot see the points inside your map. Okay. Okay, so somebody's doing a different activity. So let me see. This activity, which I have posted now, is the activity we are doing. Somebody says they think it's for a future class. Which activity is this? Let me see. Oops.
Hey, did you post the wrong activity?
No, there are those who are submitting.
Okay.
Do we have two activities?
We have only
So
one with 6 questions.
the activity that we expect you to do is the activity that requires you to draw your map and submit it. So if we have two, so we need to know, because the activity that I expect is the activity. Let me see. Is the activity for?
Let me check here to make sure. Okay.
So if you're submitting the activity, I expect you to be submitting an activity of QGIS. There's one for R, which we'll probably do tomorrow, but right now the activity, somebody's GIS has crashed. Okay. So we have an activity. Yes. This is the activity. So some people are now posting the questions. That is correct. That is the activity that we expect you. So if you have an activity for R, then that has been sent in error. That activity is for tomorrow. So the activity that I'm putting here is the one that should lead you to the one that requires you to submit. The one for heart rates is surely for tomorrow. But the one that I want you to submit is the one I have shared. The one that should be having I'm going to post it also on I'm going to upload it into the folder. Actually, I have already put it in the folder. Okay. I've already put it in the folder, and we can be able to access it and submit it. So now we have 3 minutes to the end of this. We are going to end our session by saving. Go to project, save. Go to project and save. We are saving, so we close. And can say project 1. So that when we come back tomorrow, you can start from where you stopped. We shall continue addressing questions in the chat. So, okay. And when you save, it should have a name here. And then you close. So go to project, save. So you can give it a name, then you close. Okay, now I have closed mine. It is 2 minutes to the top of the hour, and I would like to end this webinar here. We shall continue to answer questions in the chat, and we continue to learn together. Back to you, David. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, Peace, and as well, Stephen, for the interventions and the knowledge. I think we are all proud and happy to get this kind of knowledge. So I think the discussions can continue in the chat box or the WhatsApp group. So I think let's close for now. We continue discussing in our WhatsApp.